This conference will now be recorded.
Now, today our concept is import set first. The import sets is nothing but how we can import outside data into ServiceNow table. How can we import outside Excel sheet data into ServiceNow table? For example, I have an Excel sheet. In that, I have fields like username, name, first name, last name, email, phone, department. I have. So the username is test hyphen user1. Name is test user. First name test, last name user, test hyphen user at iCloud Technologies.com. Okay. Phone number you can give something else like this. Department we can say IT. Like the same, I'm going to fill some other data. Test user 2. The name is test user 2. Test user 2. Test hyphen user 2 at iCloudTechnologies.com. Something like this. Department is IT. So test user 3. Test user 3. Test start user 3. and phone, department ID. Okay. Now, like the same, I will add one more. Test user 4, test user 4, test dot user 4, great, outcloudtechnologies.com. Some phone number, IT. So I have 4 records in the Excel sheet. So I want to import 4 records. Okay. So you can say user data. Desktop. Say. Okay, it's good. Now my requirement is I want to import the data from that Excel to ServiceNow user table. So what do you have to do? So these kind of scenarios we will have process to import the data. First one is load the data. After that, create transform map. After that, map the fields. After that, transform. How we can do that? In interviews, they will ask you the question like how we can import the outside data to the service now. So you have to tell the steps like, first of all, you need to load the data. Once you load the data, it will create a temporary table. The data will be in the temporary table. And then create a transform map. In the transform map, we need to map the fields. And once you map the fields, you have to transform. So, so this is the Excel sheet I have. In my Excel sheet, I have 4 users, and I will create the same user again, test underscore user 1. The same I will create. Okay. Now I need to import this data into ServiceNow. ServiceNow user table. The ServiceNow user table is sys_user table. Oh, okay. So when you click the users, you will get the list of users. So right now I have a 65 users. So if you have a 10,000 users, if you have a 20,000 users, we can import the data using that Excel sheet right now. So we need to import the data. So for example, I have a 5 records here. So 5 records I want to import the data. Okay. So what are all the steps you need to perform to import the data into ServiceNow? So what you have to do is go to ServiceNow. First, load data. Type load D. You will get load data. Once you get the load data, click on load data. And you need to create a table. The temporary table you have to create. So here, import user data. We are importing from the file, so that we have to take that file, user data file. Once you take that file, in that sheet you can specify that sheet number and row number. In Excel sheet, like we have a many, right? So if you see the Excel sheet, we can have a sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, like that. The sheet 1 and the row 1 we need to specify and submit. Once you submit it, it will run and it will create a temporary table. Whatever we given, it will create a temporary table, and 5 records will get inserted into the temporary table. You can see that in the import sets. After that, see, in the import sets, user data Excel sheet is stored, and import user data is a temporary table. It is automatically created. And load data, there are 5 records created. Now you need to create a transform map. So once you click on the create transform map, you have to give the name of the transform map. So the transform map name is import user table user data. So whatever the temporary table we have created, the table will get here, and the target table is, what is the target table here? Which table I need to take the target table? To which table we are importing the data? I need a response. What is our requirement? What we are doing here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
To which table we are loading the data?
The user table, right?
User table, right? So target table, which one I need to select?
It should be user underscore ID or something.
Yes, sys underscore user.
It's underscore user. Okay.
Okay. Now this is the transform map. Name is name of the transform map, and source table is whatever the Excel sheet we have. That table will create automatically, and the fields will get also created temporary table automatically. Scope is the global, and the target table is like to which table we are importing the data. Since we are importing the data into user table, and order is order of the table, and active is act to run business rule. So if you have any business rules on the user table, that should be run. And if any empty fields are there, it will copy and create a new record on empty coalesce fields. When you make that empty coalesce fields, empty fields, when you are importing the empty fields, it will copy it. Run script. If you make it true, you can write the script. For example, like you are getting the first name and last name, you need to combine both and you need to populate that information into name field. And here like we have a source, target, map, log is update. These things are useful to the Excel sheet. Like so in Excel sheet I have a first name, last name, name, user ID and all. So based on the user ID, test underscore user one, test underscore user, I want to append something like test underscore user one dot user one, test underscore user two dot user two. If you want to append something like that, you can append it. So we always compare that source table is source. So source dot data, source dot first name, source dot last name, source dot uh, IP, source dot email, like that. And the target is user table fields. So save it. So once you save it, the next step what you have to do is you need to, you can do the auto mapping also, but the auto mapping, once you do the auto mapping based on the Excel sheet fields and um, target table fields will automatically create mapping, and you can check the mapping by using the mapping assistance. So once you go with the mapping assistance, it will say like, see our source table fields name, email, department, last name. So name, email, department, last name, but we have an Excel sheet first name also, we did not get that. So first name, and here you have to get the first name. So first name, name, email, department, last name. But we have a phone also. Phone. So here home phone. We have a username also. Username. And you have to get the username. Username is nothing but user ID. user ID. So I have 7 fields in my sheet, so that the 7 fields I have mapped here: first name, name, email, department, last name, phone, home, phone, username, user ID, and save it. Once you save it, the mapping is done. Again, if you want to check the mapping, go to the mapping assistance and check the mapping. Phone, home, phone, name, email, username, user ID, department, first name, last name. Save it. Once you do the mapping, you have to do the transform. Once you do the transform, all the 3 records or 4 records, whatever it may be, that should be imported in the user table. So once you click on the transform, you will get this screen. So import user data and sys_user. So click on transform. So the transform is done, so that you can see the transform history, how many records imported. See, completed with errors. So there are 4 records inserted, but 1 record is error. Why the error is, we need to check. Error during insert sys_user test user. Why? Because test user is already existing ServiceNow, so that the same record it will not insert. So go back. Open that import set. Open the transform map. So if you go here, open the user table. So we can do the filter. Created on today. Hold on. See, 4 users created today. See, it was populated user 1, first name, last name, department IT, active true. And the mobile phone information is not populated. We need to populate that also. The business phone. We'll change the mapping. Okay. Again, if I try to import the same, already I have a test user 1. If I try to import the same data, again go to load data. I can use the existing import user ID. The file, we can select the same. If you select the data source, you have to select the data source. How to create a data source and how to import that data, we'll see now itself. Right now we are doing with the file, remember, and submit. And we have already created the transform map, so that we just need to run the transform and transfer. So it is done. But see here, completed with errors. Everything is ignored. Why? Because we have already that user ID. There is one business rule is running on the user table. So test user 1 is already there, test user 2 is already there, so that it will not import the data. That's what this is going to happen here. So what we will do is, we'll change this user ID, test user 6, test user 7, test user 8, test user 9, test user 10. And save it. I have changed the user IDs now. Again, I will load the data. Step 1. Already existing in the table, I need to select. Source file is this one. I have changed the user IDs. Submit. File records inserted. Run transform. This time it should insert 5 more records. See, complete. 5 more records got inserted. 5 records inserted. No ignore. Why? Because every time you are importing the data, some business rule is running on the user table, so that the username should be unique. That is the reason if you give any duplicate username, that data is not getting inserted into ServiceNow. Now if you go to the users table, do the filter, created on today, total 10 records should be there. Total 10 or 9 records should be there. See, created on today. If you open one record, user ID test underscore user 6, first name test, last name user, department IT, active true. This is what importing the data from outside Excel sheet to ServiceNow. Step 1, we need to load the data. When you loading the data, we'll create temporary table or staging table. After that, we'll create a transform map. Step 3. After that, we need to do the field mapping. The final step is transform. Okay. So these are all the steps we need to perform. This is the one way of importing the data. The other way of importing the data, we can use data source to import the data. When using the data source to import the data, we have multiple ways to import the data. So type data source here. Once you type the data source, you can see the system import sets, administration. Under administration, you can see the data source. Once you click on the data source, you will get that list of out of the box data sources. These are and create new. Once you click on create new, just give the name, import data from Excel. For when you give the name, the import set label we have to give like the same. Like the same, you can use the import set label. So the import set label name automatically populated. So we are doing it from the attachment and save it. Once you save it, so you have to add that attachment. But this time all the records should be ignored. Why? Because we have all these user IDs already existing in that user table, so that when you import the data using the data source, you should ignore. No record can be inserted. So delimiter is like something like with the user ID you can separate with the comma or something else, so you can use the delimiter. And first of all, you need to load the 20 records from the data source. So there was an error while importing the data. Data contains one column, expected two. So we need to see what is that. Import log. I don't know why. There should not be an error, but it is getting the error. Go to data source. That's created by now. So is the data. So there was a list. File not CSV, right? File Excel you have to select. That's the reason it is giving error. The sheet number is 1. Header is 1. We have to specify and save it. So retrieving the files are something like there are many. When you type the file format you have like CSV, CSV tab, custom, Excel, JSON, XML we have. So you can import the data from this type of Excel. So right now I have Excel file, so that the file type is Excel I have to. And we can import the data through the JDBC. But when you take the JDBC, you need to have a JDBC details, like you need to have a database name, port, and the format, and the username, password, server, query, and a table name we have to specify. And if you use last run timestamp, you will get that last run timestamp. And you can import the data from the LDAP. You need to select the LDAP server. You can import the data from the OIDC. You need to have a OIDC details. And you can import the data from the REST. You have to specify the REST action and all. You can import the data from the custom, loading the script. You can do that. And right now, these are the many ways we can import the data into ServiceNow. From the JDBC database, you can import the data from JDBC to the ServiceNow, and you can import the data from LDAP. From LDAP to ServiceNow, you can import it. You can import the data from REST Integrations Hub. You can import the data from custom lobby, load by script. You can import the data from the file. Right now, we are importing the data from the file. File and the format should be Excel. Now you can save the record. And load 20 records first. The records will get, we have only 5 records or 6 records, right? So 5 records. And you can create a transform map. The next step, the same, import the user data into the ServiceNow. The target table is sys_user. Save it. And I click on auto mapping. So based on the field names, it will auto map. And when you are creating Excel template, also like the column names, whatever the user fields you have, the same you have to specify. Like username is username, first name, last name, like the same you have to specify. So fields are created. So mapping assistance will check. So when you check the mapping assistance, why it is not coming anything? The fields were not mapped or what? Target table we have, source table we have. So mapping assistant. Why nothing is mapped? Even we could not see that table also.
So Krishna, where were you trying to get that data from?
Before that, I have loaded the data from the Excel sheet.
I
Now,
saw the Excel one, but this one, where are you trying to get this from?
this one from the data source.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
There is a data source here. From the data source, I am importing the data. I have created one data source here, import data from the Excel, and I have attached that Excel sheet to my data source. So from the data source, I am importing the data. For that, I have created the transform map.
So you got the data from the Excel sheet and put it in the data source. Now you are importing it. Is that what you're doing, right?
Yes, you are right.
Okay.
And some of the fields are mapped. Go to mapping assistance. I don't know why here the data is not coming. Okay, that's not an issue. Okay, save it and do the transform now. However, this record should not. Why again? And transform. Transform. So this is the way we need to import the data from the data source. See, nothing is inserted. Something is happened to this sheet and all. So go to the data source. And this is the old one, I think. They are having some user data. Oh, already there is a one data source is existing here. So here if I do the load record, success 5 are inserted and run transform map. All the things, all the records should be ignored. See, ignored. Why? Because the same data we have already in the table, ServiceNow table, so that it is not taking. Okay. So if you give the new data again, (11), 12, 13, 14, 15. The names are also like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. First name 11, last name 15. I will just save it. And I will go to my data source. Oh, sorry. Input data from Excel. Add the Excel sheet here. Remove the old one. Create a new one. Load 20 records. The records are loaded. You can see the loaded data in load data. Oh, there was something is happening. Unicode X03 was found in the element content in the document. The data is loaded, right? That's fine. We'll see that data is loaded. Okay, and run transform. Since we already created the transform map, something is happening here. That should not happen. Okay, that's fine. We'll do it from the load data. Existing import user data, but here we can take that data source, import data from Excel, submit, run transform. Completed with errors, gain. During insert this user, test user, oh, it is taking the old records, test user 2, 4, like that. So the new record, the new records it should take, but it was taken that old record. Now we'll create another data source. not another data source. We'll use the existing one. So we need to take that new one. The new one is where is that user data? Did you see any user data file here? This is the one, right? It is saying 11, 12. 81, 91, 01 will say. Okay. Now we'll try to import. We'll add that file to data source. Import data from Excel. Remove the old one. Choose new one. Stop user data. 1181 and all we are getting the data. So we have good data. Save it. Unload 20 reports. It's loaded. Create a transform map. Test user import. I am giving new transform map name. The target table is sys_user. Submit. Don't submit it, try to save it. And auto map matching fields. Field maps created for the first name, last name, and all mapping assistance. But I don't know why it is not showing here. That's fine. We'll do the transform. Field maps are not getting created. Why? From the data source. What's going on? I don't know why, but I will do it from the load data again. Load data. Existing table and the data source, also this one. And transfer. History. So yeah, inserted 5 again. So this is what we need to import the data into a ServiceNow. But from the data source, we can do the imports from the JDBC, ODBC, OSCD and all, but we don't have a real-time JDBC and all, right? So we are not able to do it, but the process is same. So when you select the JDBC, you need to get database name, database port, and username, password and all. So that the data will become to the temporary table, and using the transform map from the temporary table to the target table you have to do. Any doubts? Let me know. If you did not understand the concept or anything else, please let me know.
We would have to work on that again, everybody together, because I don't think I understood some part of it, and I don't know. It might be the same for some others. So I think we might have to just run it together, everybody running it at the same time, and making sure we are all getting it.
Okay, so it's an easy, it's not so difficult. Directly we just need to import the data. Please go through that video and practice it and come to the class. So again, we will have one more requirement. We have online banking system. So we are used to work with online banking system only, right? So in the online banking system, we need to import the data. First name, account number, and mobile number. Bank name, I have a data. I need to import the data. So prepare one Excel sheet. First of all, account number. Bank name. Excuse me. Sorry. Bank name and account number, mobile number, IFSC code. Mobile number. So whatever field we have, the same fields you have to use. And account holder name. Since account holder name, it is reference to the sys_user table. So whatever the data we have in the user table, the same we have to give. The account number, I can give something like this. Bank name HDFC. IFSC code HDFC 000968. Mobile number, something like this. Account holder name, whatever the data we have in ServiceNow, you have to give the same. Why? Because it is the reference field. If we give the any other name, it will not take. It will create a new record. So that here you have to give. So the next one, something like this. And SDFC, you can say. SDFC 000967. Mobile number. Account holder name is this guy. The next record, something like this. JDFC, you can say. The mobile number. So this is the guy we have to third record to be. And the same first record information I will put at the last and save. Now my requirement is I want to import this data to my online banking system. Okay. So what I will do is go to load data. Or else we'll create a one data source. Create. If you are not creating a data source, when you are importing the data from the load data, the data source will get created automatically. So if you go to the load data, create one table. Since it is another table, import online banking system. Now you take the file, it will create a data source automatically, online banking, and submit it. So there are 4 records inserted, and you need to create a transform map. Import online banking system. The target table is, what is our target table? To which table we are importing the data? Online banking system, and save it. So what is the use of run business rules checkbox is, if you have any business rules in this target table, the business rules will run at the time of importing the data. That's it. Other than that, nothing is there. Enforce mandatory field. The enforce mandatory field is, if you have any mandatory fields on the form, if you say our online banking system, we have some of the mandatory fields like account number or something else, we have a mandatory. So for that, the mandatory fields, it will enforce it and it will insert the data. It is enforcing the data. And auto map matching fields. So the field maps got created. See, there are mobile number, account number, everything is got created. And go to the mapping assistance for again recheck. So it's got created 5. We are good. Save. And transform. So when you do the transform, all the records should insert in. See, 4 records got inserted. Now if you go to the online banking system, all created on today. There are 4 records. Now again I will import the data. Again go to the load data. Existing table take, already we have created. Import online banking system. And create the same file again. Same file, nothing is changed. Same file. Submit. 4 records inserted. Already we have created the transform map so that directly can run it. Transform. And see the transformation. Again it's got inserted. See. Now if I go here, again it's got inserted. It's got duplicate records. See. Created on today. Again, it's got inserted duplicate record, the same name, the same account number. Again, I am getting one. So I don't want the duplicate records here. Since previously we have inserted data into the user table, so there was a business rule or some other scripts are running to make that data is unique. But online banking system, we don't have any unique records. So what you have to do is go to the transform map. So open the transform map that we have created. This is the one we have created. And in the transform map, there will be a field called coalesce. So everywhere something is should be unique. So here the account number should be unique, so that we need to make that account number to be coalesce is true. In interviews, they will ask you the question, what is the use of coalesce in transform map? Coalesce is used to make the data is unique. If we make the coalesce is true for one field, if the data is matching, it will update the record. If the data is not matching, it will insert the record. If we make the coalesce for two fields, if the two fields data is matching, it will update the record. If the two fields data is not matching, it will insert the record. Now I have made the coalesce is true, and I will try to import the same data again. It should not insert the data. Why? Because the coalesce will help us to filter that duplicate data. So go to the load data again. Existing import set. Same file you can take, but that data should not be allowed into ServiceNow. There are 4 inserted, but when I do the transform, when I click on the transform, all the records should ignore. See, total 4 records, 4 is ignored. Why? Because we have already those records in ServiceNow. We are making the coalesce account number. You will not get that data. Now what I will do is, I will update that information to be I will update the mobile numbers. Something I have updated the mobile numbers. Now what you have to do is, we just updated the mobile number. So the record is matching with the account number. Now the 4 records we have updated. Okay, the 4 records we have updated, mobile numbers. Now I'm trying to import the data. Again, go to the load data. Existing table, take the file, same file again, and submit. Since already created the transform map, just run the transform and transform. Now what it will happen is, it will not insert the record. Why? Because already the same account number is already existing in the ServiceNow. So you have updated some mobile number, so that should be same updated in the ServiceNow. So it will update the 4 records. See, the updates are 4. Previously you did not.
Can you say that again, Krishna?
Yeah.
You said it will not update. Can you say it again, please?
Okay. So for example, See, I have 8 records here. So from the 8 records, I have a duplicate account numbers here. So by making the coalesce, we can filter the duplicate records so that we will get the unique records. So, for example, I have
coalesce is used to remove duplicates records.
yes, coalesce is used to remove the duplicates. That is the main point. That is the most important interview question. Okay. Now, when I try to import the same data, since we make the coalesce is true, if you import the same data, the data will not insert into ServiceNow. Why? Because it will say, hey man, you have made the coalesce is true for the account number, the same data already existing in the ServiceNow, so don't insert. It will say, it will ignore. The next time you have updated the mobile number, we'll take the mobile also from. Okay, we have updated the mobile number. See, 999 we have. Okay, and 4851 6491 we have. Now what I will do is I will remove 4 records. These duplicate records I will remove. Now what I will do is second please. Then what I will do is again I will import the same data. See, go to the load data, existing table, the same file, submit. Already we have a transform map, so run transform. Transform. And if you see the history, all the records will get ignored. Why? Because 2 is updated, 2 is ignored. Why? Because two record data is mismatching with the current record, so that 2 records are updated, 2 records are ignored. Okay, now if you go to that online banking, if the records are same data, it will ignore. So 2 records are same data, so that it was ignored. 2 records data is not matching, so it is updating, so that it is updated. So if we go here, created on today, see 4 records, 10000 something like that, and the mobile number and all. So something is updated here. Now what I will do is clearly observe 2525 999 5252 6491. I will change something in my Excel sheet now. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, something like that I will give. All names. Something I given. See, but last record I am not changing anything. So here 3 records should be updated. Why it is something like 3 records should be updated and 1 record should be ignored in the current sheet. Okay, the same account number, so that account number is matching, so 3 records data is updated, so 3 records should be updated, 1 record should be ignored. So go here, load data, take that file, run transform. See, from the 4 records, 1 record should be ignored, 3 records should be updated. Why? Because we have updated the three records data. Oh, 2. Why? I don't know. See, 2 records got updated, 2 records got inserted. But something is like getting the same data. That's the reason it is 2 records getting inserted, 2 records getting updated. So online banking, all created on today. Okay. So there is a 999 this one is, it is coming as a whole data. New data is not coming. Why? I don't know. Is it not taking the new data? I think I did not save it. Now I have changed. I have saved. We'll see now. Quickly I will import it again. So run transformation. 4 is updated. Why? 4 is changed. I think 4 is changed. Okay. So 4 is updated. Now if I go to that online banking, all created on today. See, all your phone numbers got changed, whatever I given. See, all 9s, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that I given, right? The same data you can get it here. So that's the use of. Is it any other number? We have a mobile number. Any other number is there? Since we did not get the data, I am thinking. Now you could update that bank name also. Go here and update that bank name also, HDFC instead of CDFC. CDFC. Oh, we got the same data. No worry. Mobile number and save it. Now 2 records should be updated with CDFC, something like that. So go here and again load data. Take the existing table and take the new sheet. Open and submit it. There are 4 records again. Run transform map. 2 records should be updated. Since I have changed only 2 records, so 2 records should be updated. So 2 records should be ignored. It's updating 3 records. Why again? So basically that it will check that every time. Compare with the existing records and it will update the data. You have to do a lot of practice. Like how I am Importing the data, same, you need to import the data. See, SD, SDFC, JDFC, you got right? Like the same, you have to try for yourself. Okay, so SCDFC, something like that. Any doubts related to this concept? Any doubts? If you have any doubts, please let me know. The response is much needed. If you have any doubts, let me know.
We'll just have to just run through it. I mean, I am there is a it is a little bit like I'll just like test it out first before I ask any questions.
Okay, that's fine. So we do one commitment, okay? So if you give me that committed time in the next week,